and Jimmy just takes over.
I think Jimmy showed metal players that they could have ambition, that they could do different things other than just play power chords.
Having as much power that Jimmy had with his guitar, and then being able to go to something as beautiful as the mandolins he used in some of the songs, that takes tremendous talent.
Zeppelin threw the doors open to everything that they wanted to write about and experience. They went everywhere.
Para 1971, las fórmulas básicas para todo metalero estaban listas. El sonido pesado y rasposo de Sabbath y el sonido del buen rock concertista de Zeppelin.
I do think that seemingly every metal band, at its core, is fundamentally using the template Sabbath set or the template that Zeppelin set.
It was the early days, you know, everything was sort of emerging. The first Sabbath record, Led Zeppelin, I mean, what's metal? I don't know, no one knows yet. It's just a bunch of bands that are gone berserk, but they've laid the groundwork.
There are so many rock heroes. We need a rock villain. I want to be the rock villain.
Were you popular in high school?
No.
No.
With the police, I was popular. I was the guy that dressed different than everybody in the whole school, and I had very few friends.
At that age, man, you're looking for any sort of expressionism, something that's going to make you different, where you raise your head above the crowd and you go, hey, hello, here I am, look at me.
Actualmente la letra de las canciones de las bandas de metal es agresiva y oscura, típico. Pero a principios de los 70, Norteamérica aún no estaba lista para las presentaciones de Vincent Damar Farnier, el rechazado más notable de Norteamérica y mejor conocido como Alice Cooper.
Nobody ever tried to do what Alice did. Nobody ever tried to be this sort of bizarre vaudevillian character. Alice Cooper believed fast cars, blondes, switchblades, sensationalism. We wanted to be the National Enquirer of rock and roll. There are so many rock heroes. We need a rock villain. I want to be the rock villain.
Alice Cooper grew up on horror movies as much as he grew up on rock and roll. He was the combination of Bela Lugosi, Chuck Berry, Vincent Price, and everything that actually led up to the formation of the Alice Cooper Band.
I want to be the personified Captain Hook of rock. I don't want to be Peter Pan. I want to be Snidely Whiplash. I want to be the guy that wants the rent money. And I enjoyed playing the heavy. We fashioned a lot of Alice Cooper under the Betty Davis character in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. That makeup she wore, the smeared makeup, that's where I got that. Because there was something just so creepy about her.
Cooper llevó el metal oscuro británico un paso más adelante. Su notable gira Billion Dollar Babies en 1973 fue un perverso show de horror, adornado con violencia, necrofilia y bebés muertos.
We were trying to create something that hadn't been done. And what hadn't been done was nobody had taken the lyrics and brought them to life. If you had a lyric like Dead Babies, with Alice, there's just no two ways about it. You have to show the audience that, not just sing about it. You use the stage as a canvas and you bring it to life.
Going to a concert became something more than like a bunch of guys on stage playing their songs. Once those doors shut on the arena, it does like turn into hell.
Heavy metal's always been about horror. If it was to be classified in the same way as we classify books or movies, heavy metal would fit in the horror section.
An alienated young person is drawn to things that are dark. You're going through terrible transitions of being a teenager or whatever, and darkness feels real good to you.
I'm attracted to the evil, period. You know, I always was as a kid. You know, I was like, you know, the worst stuff I could find, I'm like, that's what I want to buy.
Some people take comfort in fluffy bunnies during adolescence. Some people like to take out the vivid, technicolor, violent fantasies and draw them on the back of exercise books. And then one day a band comes along that kids just go, that's exactly what I'm feeling! Now!
I remember one time I was watching TV with my dad, and I must have been about 15 or 16 years old, and Alice Cooper was on TV, and you know, and I'm sitting there watching, my dad's sitting next to me, and I have no idea what's going through his head, and I'm watching, and all of a sudden I hear this voice, and it's my dad, and he looks over at me like this, and he's talking through his teeth like this, and he's really mad, you know, and he looks over at me, he goes, if you ever look like that, I will kill you. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, Dad, wait till they get a load of me.
My reputation sort of precedes me, you know, as far as killing chickens and biting people's heads off and killing babies. I never did that, for one thing.
Have you got
Colonel Sanders kills chickens. I don't.
We always had the taste not to do any language, bad language on stage, or no nudity, because that was too cheap, too easy. To us, that was like, well, that gives it all away. You know, what you do is you suggest. If you just suggest, then you don't have to do it. Our stage show was as bizarre as it could get, but I always saw it as being fun. In fact, Groucho Marx loved the show because he saw the burlesque in it. He brought Mae West to one of the shows. Mae West and Groucho Marx watching an Alice Cooper show. And neither one of them were fazed at all. The audience was going, Groucho Marx. I'm looking for the sign and see Groucho Marx and Mae West going, it's good vaudeville.
El heavy metal aprendió una valiosa lección. Alterar vende. La fórmula de Alice Cooper se sigue usando hoy. Evidentemente no nada más en los escenarios, sino que también en las letras, videos musicales y portadas de discos.
The idea of opening the commercial floodgates of theatricality to rock and roll was something that I think we were responsible for. You're so far out on the limb when you're Alice Cooper that you're either going to be the biggest idiot of all time or you're going to be considered like a groundbreaking genius, you know.
Every time I'll see somebody do something, I go, you can find some old concert of Alice and go, look, he already did it. You completely ripped him off. He did everything first. It's sickening.
Nobody knew what they looked like. You didn't know whether underneath Gene's makeup he was like a murderer. You didn't know.
¿Qué tal si hubiera 4 Alice Cooper? ¿Qué tal si hubiera 4 tipos que pudieran ampliar los límites del heavy metal? ¿Qué tal si estos tipos